Hello friends. So in today's problem, currently we are using JWT to authenticate our Django system, Django project, and we have this default set of validators available from Django. The problem here is these validators by default are only working with Django forms and not with our custom sign up flow where we are creating the user and returning the JWT tokens. So this validation is not coming into picture. As we can see on the Django project website as well, that the password validation here clearly says by default create user, which we generally use, doesn't offer us the password validations to be enabled. Although we have them added in our settings, but still it is not applicable on our APIs. It's just only available for forms, which is exactly our case, and we are facing the same issue. So let's see how do we resolve it. Let's see if I try to hit this API with my invalid password, which is very small, it will allow me to create a user and it returns me proper access tokens, which is wrong in our case. Okay, this is fine. The user already exists, but it is accepting the password. The existing code here we can see is okay, user is creating with the relevant password and it's returning me the data if no error is coming. Let's see what should be the correct behavior and how we can resolve it. So now I have added my fix in the code here and let's see how it's behaving now. If I try to create a new user with the small password which is invalid, it should throw the error and right, voila, it's working like that. It's throwing us the error. Also, if I try to resend the same user here, it is not registering with even the small password. So let's see what changes we have done to achieve the same behavior. First of all, the most important part here is validate password, which is provided to us by Django itself. What it does is it lets us send us the password which we want to save and for the corresponding user. Because of which it tells us it brings in picture the validators we have defined in our common settings validators. So now this person throws the error whenever the password is not good enough for Django to store it. It throws none if the everything is valid. For example, in our case, it is throwing validation error, which we have wrapped around inside a try catch, try except in Python's terminology. So most of our errors thrown by validate password will be cached inside validation error. I have added exception just for any weird case scenario where I have not handled it, but most of the errors from validate password will lie inside validation error. Also, if you notice, important part here is with atomic. So what it is doing is earlier, whenever error was coming in a password, it was still creating the user. So on retrying it was throwing me user already exists. But according to my project requirement, if a validation password validation fails, user should also not be created. So with atomics helps me achieve that. What it does is if it fails at this step, it reverts any of the DB commits it has done in between this scope of with atomic. So yeah, this pretty much this fix brings in the validation for JWT. Thank you everyone.